I realized who we are, right? I realized the love and the beauty that we really are and how courageous we are in being here. It was a game changer for me. It really was. I then began to reshape everything. I understood that I am not the victim of the world I see. That is a lesson from A Course in Miracles, a book that I study. Okay. We're not the victims of the world we see. And I recognize I may have asked this man to do this, to push me into the light so that I can do that which I came here to do.
What's up, good people? It's Eric Taylor, Biggie Astrology. Welcome to episode 205 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast with my amazing guests. Oh my God, I'm talking a spiritual life coach. She has her own podcast. She does the quantum hypnotherapy past life progression, right? Through the Delores canon. Yes. I am talking about the amazing Miss Loretta Taylor, the podcast. You got to check it out on YouTube. You'll have all the information down below. But Miss Loretta Taylor, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you today, my friend?
Eric, I am amazing. What a pleasure. I'm honored to be on your show. So grateful for the space that you offer in this spiritual space. You are funny. I love it. Just awesome to be here.
Well, we have to tell them, right? I've already been on your podcast, which will be airing soon. And then now you're doing the favor coming on mine. So it's really exciting. And just to let the audience know, I got to dip into a little bit of astrology and we'll go back and forth into it. But Miss Loretta is the sweet, my favorite aunt was a Cancer. She's a Cancer, the Cancer sun sign, the Gemini rising, and that Taurus moon. Now, I don't want you getting to bragging on us. We just had the Taurus super new moon a few days ago, but you being the Taurus moon, it's exalted. That is just like the chupacabra of placements, right?
I love it.
So very emotionally grounded. So are you a good cook? I got to ask you that first, right? Taurus moon.
I do cook a lot. I cook a lot, single parent.
Right, we can't forget, you're also a dynamic mother. We have to mention that too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, yeah.
So, that's a mouthful, all that you do. And I know you have some other gifts that you tend to do with clients and stuff, more one-on-one in person. But who was young Loretta at 10 years old, 11, 5th, 6th grade? But and could you have imagined your life now and what you do now?
That is a lot to share. My childhood, I was an introvert, but not, I really kept to myself though. As a child, I always kind of felt adopted. I didn't feel connected with my family. Grew up in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it was, hard knock life. Okay. It really was, there was a lot of love, but it was rough. It was rough, especially African Americans in the South. So it was a lot to deal with there. Just a lot, really, if you can imagine anything that you would deal with.
Do you have siblings? Were your parents together?
I did. I did not grow up with my father. He was in Buffalo, New York. My mother raised us all. It was 5 of us.
Wow.
I was the middle child. So younger brother and sister.
The Jan Brady of the gang.
So no, I would not have Interestingly enough, Eric, though, I used to do the news in my high school. So I find that interesting that now I do the podcast, and so communication has always kind of been my thing. So that is when you asked that came to me.
Well, you know what that is, and I just got to kind of take that back to the astrology for the audience because it's really fascinating. The Gemini ascendant and having the chart ruler Mercury in Gemini in the first house, it's literally you being the messenger. So you were
Mhm,
really destined, as the young girl doing the news in school, and then now
mhm,
with the podcast and
mhm.
doing the healing work. What if you can, share with the audience what drove you, what was the impetus and gave birth to studying quantum, hypnotherapy and spiritual life coaching? Like this wasn't you at 25. So like what made you kind of enter this spiritual journey?
So, real quick, Eric, my entryway into the spiritual arena was it's similar to a lot of folks. It was through pain. It was through a lot of mental and psychological pain. I did not want to be here, y'all. If you tune into my channel, I speak very candidly about that. Um, I didn't want to be here. I was in a tumultuous custody battle with my ex husband, and it just would not end. And I would reach out and say, hey, let's work it out. Let's save the money for our kids instead of the attorneys. Let's figure it out together and co parent. And I realized that his goal was the fight. That was
Mm.
his goal. He didn't necessarily want to win. He wanted to fight. And when I realized that, I just became so distraught, um, and
How
became
many years?
depressed.
How many years were you married?
We were only married 3 years. We were together 10, 15 years, but we were only married the last 3 years. Uh, After the third year, I just knew. I'm like, you made a mistake, Loretta. I was naive. He was a lot older than me.
Wait,
He
wait,
had
wait. Like I tell all my clients, right? It's hard as human beings. We go through these experiences, but I always tell you my greatest wishes for you is to retire from negative self talk. You got to be
Yes,
kind
you're
to Miss
right.
Loretta because we all
You
make
are so
mistakes, and you do have that generational planet, Pluto and Libra in the fifth house. And so your soul is truly here to evolve, right, and heal the pain, trauma, and crises of past lives. And then early on in this life,
right.
through the lens of relationships and marriage. So,
Man, it's tough to grow spiritually through relationships and romance. That's tough. That's a
I can,
challenge. Yeah, right. So, but anyway, once you get to that point, the great thing about seeing things clearly, right? The great thing about being in that kind of emotional turmoil is like the fog gets blown away, right? A lot of us feel like, oh, if I can just graduate from college, if I could just get this house, if I can just get married, if I could just have my 2 kids and my picket fence, then my life will be great. But when you get to that point where you see none of that is going to save me, then the
mm,
fog kind of blows away and you see clearly. And so when I was in that space, uh, I really began to develop a plan in my mind. And for some reason, I don't even know how it started, but I started to look at videos about near death experiences. I don't know if I Googled what happens if you die, I don't know.
mm,
But then I became obsessed with these stories, these
wow.
experiences that people shared, and I could not say that it was joy that I felt after looking at them,
Mm,
but definitely it was impacting me in a way that nothing else did, until I finally saw a woman who came on, and she had unalived herself,
oh, wow.
and was revived. And she very matter of factly said, we reincarnate over and over again with the same soul family to learn these lessons and have experiences. And when she said that, it was like, I could feel it. It was like a like I could feel it in my body.
Like it
The
rang true in your heart?
Oh my goodness. And I knew that's what I was looking for because the mind was like, what are we doing? Why are you looking at these videos? But yeah,
But
I was.
hold on, let me interrupt you for a quick second with
Mhm.
that. Were you, if you're looking back and being honest, were you just in a state of depression, and were you actually contemplating suicide yourself?
Absolutely. I was in a state of depression. I was severely depressed. I was isolated. My family, I live in New Jersey. All of my family was out of state. And these attorneys' bills just mounted and mounted.
Oh,
And you have to understand, he filed about 10 or 15 different motions. It could have been anything as small as where's the kids going to go to school, to do they need braces? Every single issue was an
so it's
opportunity.
just being vindictive and like controlling and narcissistic, basically.
Yes. And so, I mean, as a result, it really can be financial abuse, right?
Yeah.
So, because every motion you have to respond to, I know in the state of New Jersey back then, that was a $3,000 response to a motion. And being a single parent,
God
uh,
bless you.
he was not paying child support at that time. I didn't even have that set up because I just wanted out of the marriage. It just became a dire situation for me. So yeah, I seriously was contemplating, how do I do this? Of course, I did this when the kids are with dad. And I know, people may think, well, how could she think that when she had kids? Listen, when you're being given a message over and over again, and you're told that you're no good to your kids, you begin to believe it over time. And I was just it was just, I just remember telling God, I'm not having fun anymore. This isn't
Oh,
fun.
wow.
I don't want to, this isn't fun. So but yeah, when I realized who we are, right, I realized the love and the beauty that we really are, and how courageous we are in being here. It was a game changer for me. It really was. I then began to reshape everything. I understood that I am not the victim of the world I see. That is a lesson from A Course in Miracles, a book that I study.
Okay.
We're not the victims of the world we see. And I recognize I may have asked this man to do this, to push me into the light so
Wow.
that I can do that which I came here to do. And it was a game changer. I began to consume spiritual materials, conversations with God, Wayne Dyer's stuff, Brian Weiss, all kind of information, lives between lives and life after life issues. I got into Delores Cannon's quantum healing, hypnotherapy, and I love that.
And that's kind of, that's the thing that I'm really fascinated about.
Yeah.
So when you are working with a client, what is, I mean, just give the audience some insight, like what is the quantum healing hypnosis, and how do you feel it benefits you as a modality, but then also the person that may come to you, the client, for their journey in their life.
Thank you for that question. Quantum healing hypnosis is an opportunity. It's simply an opportunity, y'all, to figure out. It's say, oh, say, okay. So say, for example, you have a pattern that you continue to do maybe you're trying to be successful and you just can't do it, or your relationships end in pain, or you hold grudges, or even down to you have a pain in your side and that you cannot explain, and it's just there and you can't, and you've been to the doctor. There, quantum healing hypnosis therapy um, gives us an opportunity to look at other lives that we used to say past lives, but it's not just, it could be other lives that are going on simultaneous. It could be future lives, past lives, to see how those lives may be influencing the one we're living now. And
Mm.
it's all under the intention of healing. So then you have a professional like myself who you go through, you view these events and this other life in a very, very relaxed meditative state.
Okay.
It is not, I'm not hypnotizing anyone. You hypnotize yourself. It's just a very relaxed meditation, and you are using the mind's eye. You are using your vision through the mind's eye to view these
That
events.
third eye, right? We
There
got to
you go.
activate
There
with
you
the crystals.
go. And so, and then just look at it from a higher perspective, and
Mm.
then grow from it. I love it, y'all. It is, I've had so many amazing things go down as a result of
A lot
doing
of
that.
breakthroughs for clients and
Yes, absolutely.
life-changing healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of, oh my gosh, that's why I do that. And you're breaking away from those chains, because as we know, all of our incarnations impact each other. It's not all linear, right? It's all energy, right? And so if we heal those spaces, we're able to heal the challenges that we have in this particular lifetime. Some people just do it out of curiosity. I find it fascinating. It's like, okay, I wonder what I did last time. Did I, I can't stand this person. I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. But I wonder what went down. And there are other lifetimes, like with my ex-husband, we lived a lifetime in Germany. We were not together, we were colleagues.
Oh,
Uh
wow.
and it explained his bitterness, his anger in this lifetime. In that particular
Really?
lifetime, he was a foreigner, and his colleagues rejected him, and so he came in with this heavy energy to resolve those tensions. And so it's really fascinating and goes into the layers that we are. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk.
Well, no. I just want to ask you about that because you hit on something that I was going to ask you. Like, can you do quantum hypnotherapy on yourself? And is that how you saw the past life experience with your husband, your ex?
So a part of my so I saw this video, right, where this lady and learned about that we reincarnate. I then began to consume material, right? Spiritual materials. I came across this book, and I've actually had the author on my show, which was an incredible full circle moment for me.
Wow.
Robert Schwartz. He wrote Your Soul's Plan. Your
Mm,
Soul's Plan, Your Soul's Love, and there's one more.
okay.
But basically, he talks about pre-birth planning. And in his book, he utilized two different, a psychic and a medium. They both of them had different abilities.
Right.
And I was Stacy Wells was one of them that I called, and she was able to actually hear and observe the conversations that a client had before birth, in that particular lifetime, with their guides. Like, this is how I wanted my next lifetime to be. And
Right.
so I reached out to her when I read his books are incredible, y'all.
It
If you are
sounds. Oh my
curious,
goodness.
yes. I reached out to her, and she was able to take herself into a deep meditation, and she gave me that information that, because I'm gonna tell y'all, look, I was convinced that I had kidnapped and murdered this man in a previous lifetime, and for real, I'm like, what
Oh my
did I do
god.
to this? For real, what did I do to this
Right,
man?
because you're experiencing so much headache and heartbreak and trauma in this life. You're like, oh my gosh, I must have done something terrible to him in a past life. I can imagine. Yeah.
I thought it was horrible karma. I just thought I had done something so wrong, but I found out it was quite the opposite. He and I were co-workers, And I was so compassionate for him because his colleagues rejected him because they felt like he was a foreigner. And he asked me, he called me his compassionate something. Can you be my compassionate confidant or something in this lifetime? And I said yes. And then we just got, I guess doing this dance. So, but that was so key to healing. That was so key, getting that information.
I can imagine.
I was able to shape my experience around that. It made sense,
To
and
the
it's
logical mind, right?
yes,
And a
yeah,
lot of times we kind of need that, right? Whether you grow up Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever it is, Mormon. A lot of times, even in the faith aspect, we still are looking for, the analytical, logical mind to process things in this 3D physical reality for understanding and comprehension. And sometimes we can never do that with the logical mind. It's
yeah,
more that spiritual realm and that essence.
mm,
So
yeah.
I want to get back to that, but I just want to highlight,
Mhm.
you have Uranus and Scorpio in your sixth house,
Okay.
along with the North Node. And for the audience, like this really highlights a lot of, your destined path to really be this innovative, futuristic healer, and helping to bring transformation to your life through your work and health and all that, and then also to your clients. So it's kind of fascinating that this has kind of taken you on this path, but it's also in your natal birth chart. And like you
Mhm.
were saying about the past life and her explaining that we choose these things, that's
Mhm.
what the birth chart is. It's like
Mhm.
a map of your life. And before you come through your mother's womb, the portal, right? You amazing women are the portals, right?
Mhm.
That's the first house, the rising sign, Gemini, the messenger. It's like you are selecting, I need to have issues with my dad. I've got to learn some life lessons through relationships. I got to, have a bunch of siblings and this and that. And you're kind of making these selections, right? For your soul to evolve in this incarnation. And then it's like you hit enter and then boom, you're born. Well, that's why when I work with my clients and you see the birth chart, it's your soul remembering what you pre-selected.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You
And
know?
whether we do it through the birth chart or whether we do it through uh, remembering the pre-birth planning, it is so key to recognize. Here's the key, Eric. It's to recognize that we are the choreographers of our life, because that takes us up from a position of victimhood and weakness to a position of strength, right? And stepping into our personal power and taking personal responsibility and recognizing I created this for a reason. And if I have the power to create this suffering, I have the power to create release from it, freedom,
Amen.
peace, love, light. Yeah. And so that
Healing,
is
exactly. Yeah.
absolutely, that's what's empowering about that, is
Wow.
knowing, remembering that which we are, y'all, because we are powerful beings. We really are.
Wow. That just
Yeah.
gave me chills because it's like I'm just envisioning that kind of experience and that journey, right? That you've shared with us already.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, well, where's your perspective or connection, excuse me, in terms of this with your siblings and your mother? Do you think some of your natural gifts came through the lineage of your mom? And do you have any siblings who are into anything like this? Or are you kind of just the black sheep on your own and everybody's like, Loretta done lost it?
They always called me different. Loretta's different. that was always, I was always somewhere in left field. So I didn't go through the whole, I know a lot of people have to adjust to being authentic with their family and saying, this is what I'm into now. I didn't go through that. They love it. My mom is excited about me being on YouTube. Anybody who comes to the house, look at my baby. Let me show you. She'll pull it up on the TV.
Oh,
I
That's
definitely see
wonderful.
many gifts that I have acquired through my parents. My mom has beautiful energy, wonderful sense of humor, loves to dance, just a light, and so I tell my kids, I'm my mama and you, because they roll their eyes at me. But yeah, and my father the same. Beautiful, even though I didn't grow up knowing him, beautiful energy. So it really allows, through forgiveness,
Yeah.
right, and through personal power, and educating ourselves of that which we are, because religion, not all religion, but many times we look for religion to give us all the questions about who we are. And it's just not going to happen like that. There is a need for us to investigate who we are beyond the Sunday morning, and layer that information, right? To recognize, how am I connected with God? God is not just an energy outside of me. But when you start delving into those things, you are able to forgive, not in the sense that you did something wrong to me, but you're able to just reshape everything and understand your part in every experience, and it all has value. It all has value.
That's so true. And I always tell people about how important it is, even when we go through tough times, that quiet alone time is the time to explore, and we need deep introspection to evolve and heal, right?
Yeah.
We have to reprogram the subconscious mind, and
Yes.
it's so key. So, do you see a theme or a pattern with the clients that you work with, right? Obviously, I don't want, we don't delve our personal business with our clients, but do you see patterns and themes? And is there, I know there's no cookie cutter, right? Each person is so
Mhm.
unique. God
Mhm.
made us all so complex, but are there reoccurring themes that kind of allow you to be like, okay, I see this, I see okay, this is the best way I can help you. You know what I mean? In terms of your spiritual life coaching?
That's a great question. What I see in terms of the clients is what I've seen, Eric, because I've been doing this, since 2013, 14.
Oh,
And
wow.
what I've seen over the years is the lives that we view and the issues that the clients address become more and more evolved as we evolve as a collective, right? So it used to be where I always talk about Delores Cannon would talk about a meat and potatoes lifetime, right? You're born, you have a childhood, you grow up, you get married, you get a house, you have kids, and oh, take us to the next scene, and I'm cooking some meatloaf and potatoes and vegetables, and then you die, and then you get those lessons from that lifetime. But now it's more and more sophisticated, where people they view, some people, I can do a hypnotherapy session with them, and I tell you, I ask them, what do they see? And they are a body of water.
Wow.
Yes. Or they're flying, or they look, and I can ask, well, look down, look at your hands. What do you see? Well, they are extraterrestrial beings. So as we evolve, the
Mm,
experiences evolve. And of course, they're one of the best parts of the QHHT sessions is that you get an opportunity to talk to your subconscious, your higher self, your spirit guides. The language changes. Whoever comes forward. I did a young lady, powerful beautiful young lady.
Mhm.
Uh, Archangel Michael came forward for her.
Wow.
This is like at the end of the session when we've seen the lifetimes and I've jotted down the notes, and now we're ready to talk to whoever energy wants to step forward for that client, because of course it's coming through them, but they are in that meditative state. And I'll never forget, after she had her questions answered. So I always ask clients, if you had questions to ask God, write those questions down. This is your opportunity to engage with the higher part of yourself. And so we go through the questions. Anyway, in that session, she asked questions. Archangel Michael answered the questions through her. I counted her up, right, from the back into this space, grounded her back into space. I counted her up. She was on my couch. That was before COVID, when we were doing it, largely in person. She opened her eyes, Eric, and she said, "You are so beautiful." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Thank you. Would you like something to drink?" Because you want to make sure that they get acclimated to being back in this physical realm.
But it wasn't her.
She said no. She said, "I see your aura." So that session changed her vision. And what's interesting is Archangel Michael didn't say anything about I'm about to change this woman's vision, but she could see auras from then on, and I thought that was fascinating. Right? Ever since then, I'm like, I want to see auras. So it is just an opportunity. It really is an opportunity to experience our multidimensionality. It really is how we are multidimensional beings, y'all.
We are.
Our
It's
bodies. We not these bodies. We change form each lifetime. We change roles every lifetime. It
well,
is
wait. Honey, you're saying something real key. I want to touch on that, especially with what's going on in 2024. But we'll do it again at the end. But I want to just say right now, and everything will be down below, you guys, in the description. But how do people book with you? Just share, your email and some of your information, because I can see where my audience would love to do, this quantum hypnotherapy, past life progression stuff with you. So just share that information with the audience.
okay. Thank you for that, Eric. My website is www.allthingshealing.net.
Okay.
I wasn't able to get it on the .com, but it's
That's,
all the same for
that's all
me.
right. And what about your email? Give me your email as well.
My email is ACIM, C for course, I for in, M for miracles, ACIM sharing at gmail.com. And I have to mention my podcast. It is my labor and love, y'all. It's called Loretta Sharing Group. Go on there, check it out. I just uploaded a video of a gentleman who also wanted to die, and he talks about these incredible experiences that he had,
Wow.
that shifted his perception. So that channel is, you'll find all kind of experiences. Eric is on there. I'm about to load you up
I
in about
can't
a
wait to
week.
see it. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see it.
I
So
know it's taking so long.
that's awesome.
Yeah, but near death experiences, spiritual experiences. So check that out, please, y'all, and subscribe. And y'all, let me know what y'all think.
So, okay, so that's awesome. So let me ask you this. Um, do you do in the spiritual life coaching, is it just one-on-one, or do you also work with groups? Because I could see where
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely more of a personal one-on-one thing, but I could
Mm-hmm.
see where you could be leading like a woman's group and helping, like even like a group of friends or things like that. Do you do that?
I've done that. That's interesting. Stop reading me. Eric.
Well, because okay, the truth be told, one, I saw it in my mind's eye, but at the
Wow.
same time, you do have the Aquarius midheaven in the ninth house. And so
Mhm.
that's friends and groups. And it's like the sharing your wisdom, beliefs, and knowledge, but it's like the teacher, the mentor, the professor. And so
Yeah.
I was envisioning, I said, wow. And Aquarius is kind of associated with technology and the internet, right? You see that in
Yeah.
11th house. And I was like, Loretta would be amazing. I could see you leading a
Wow.
group of women or women all over the world, international, groups over Zoom, where you are actually helping to, right? You have Pluto there for the next 20 years, starting officially, when it gets back, starting November 19th, 2024 in your ninth house. So I think that's somewhere where you're going to see your business and even just that expansion and growth
Wow.
where you're doing like international coaching. And I'm not trying to limit you and say only women, because I'm sure you could do great work with men too. But
Mhm.
it just kind of like, it just pierced my
Mm.
cranium, my heart, where I could see you
Mm.
like really doing that dynamic type of healing with groups. So
Yes, I've done that before. Thank you for speaking that in the universe. I've definitely done that before. I'm sure as you spoke that, I'm like, yep, I can see stepping in that space. Um, and that it's powerful, right? It says when God says when more than one comes in my name, right? The
yeah.
energy around that. So yes, and I definitely do individual coaching sessions, and my coaching, of course, is under the principles, the spiritual principles.
Mhm.
It's not about disempowerment. But it is about utilizing the power that we are to recognize patterns in our life and changing them, reshaping events, right? We are so conditioned into smallness. We're conditioned into victimhood. We're not taught, I'm going to be honest, we're not taught these spiritual principles about who we are. We
Amen.
are taught, right? We're taught very different things. But we when we really recognize, y'all, everyone who is listening to this video, I just want you to recognize the power and the beauty that you are and how courageous you are in being here, no matter how small or large you feel like your life is. You are correct. There are energies within source that will not incarnate on this planet, y'all. I'm
Mm.
telling you the truth. I've heard it over and over again. There are non-physical beings who will not incarnate on this planet because this is one of the toughest schoolhouse. Only the most courageous come here, y'all. And look at you. We're
Earth,
here.
here on Earth School, right?
Right,
That's
right. Exactly. Yeah.
wait. That's okay. You got to pause for a second because that's
Okay.
ooh, you just hit them like bow, right?
I'll be
That's,
rolling. I'll be rolling.
no, that's so deep. And I want to ask you when I think of that, and then what was
Hmm.
playing on in my mind as I'm hearing you talk. Right now, we're dealing with wars, rumor of wars, gender division, all this confusion, lie on top of truth on top of lie, the year of instant karma, universal 8 year, spiritual awakening, age of Aquarius. All this stuff is on the agenda and all the plate right now. But when you think about giving insights and tips to your clients, future clients, past clients, the audience, I want to limit it just to one thing. What
Hmm.
is the one thing and one message that people need to hear that's missing that can start the evolution of healing and
Hmm.
awakening, you think, for the individual and the collective? What's that one golden like dart you just gotta like pew, throw at them?
Well, just, you know what? The biggest thing, that's a great question, Eric. The biggest thing that I would love to convey is that we are creators, right? So it is very important that what we receive and our perception, because it is chaotic, right? We have so much going on. My kids' high school just did like a walkout. about the Gaza,
Yeah.
situation. And that was their part in trying to figure out how they can take a stand. And she came home and she was just like, Mom, it is so crazy right now. It's scary. And what I shared with her and what I wanted to share is it's getting worse so that it can get better. And she didn't understand that. And I said, let me explain to you. I said, do you know when your room gets so dirty? And I'm like, Jasmine, clean your room. And you decide, you know what, let me clean my room. I said, and you pull out your clothes that you don't like anymore. You pull out the trinkets that you don't like, or you put it in a pile that the ones you do like. And if it's a pile over here, and you got your towels over here, you got your dirty laundry over here, and someone walks in the room and they're like, what is going on? It looks chaotic. But you tell them, wait a minute, give me a second. Give me a second. It's going to look better. I said, and then you go work through those different piles and you organize and you clean, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going through right now. And it does seem dire. We are going to go through, you and I talked about this, Eric, the financial scope, how that's changing, how we're being corralled into a cashless society, which
Yeah.
is not a great thing for us as a collective. Keep your cash. You continue to keep cash in the currency market as long as possible. But I do believe that once the chaos falls, that we will return to the entrepreneurs that we all are. What does that mean? I can grow some organic tomatoes and maybe I can exchange that and you knit. Or maybe I can you teach some guitar lessons in exchange for me cooking. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No.
we used to barter. We used to barter services.
That
And
hand-to-hand exchange in the local communities, barter
yeah,
and trade. Yes.
barter and trade. And when we did that way back when, we were all entrepreneurs. We were all responsible for our own financial space, and it slowly has gotten away from that. And so it can be a little bit scary, but hold on, everyone. We are all guided. Everyone who is listening to this video, you have guides. It's those impressions, it's those nudges, it's those things that you can't explain. They're always kind of subtle. It never feels like fear, it always feels like love. Those messages from our guides, we're all guided. And we can do it, y'all. There's nothing to fear. We've already won. So that's my message about that.
That that you summed it up, and that's what I tell people. The victory is already ours. That's why people in the structures and powers that be are acting so crazy and creating all this drama and chaos
Yes.
because they're in fear and they want to harvest our energy and keep us in fear,
Yeah.
those lower vibrations and frequencies. So that kind of leads me to where I wanted to go next, because Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces and they're going to dance into Aries together in February 2026, right? And the cosmos and the planets are doing their dance. And I tell people, right, the astrologies and the Bible, Torah and the Quran, and God controls the planets and the universe. Don't limit God. Astrology is not a sin. Hypnotherapy is not a sin. Reiki is not a sin, right?
Speak it.
Meditation, yoga is not a sin, right?
Speak it. I'm glad you said that. I want
All that
to
stuff, right? Because I've
Mhm.
been through it myself, right? I'm a born
Yeah.
again Christian, and I never did yoga because everybody told me, oh, da 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 da, and oh, you're honoring these gods and deities. It's not. I mean, yes, in some ways, yes, but it's not over. You could do a yoga pose and be praying to Jesus or Yeshua while you're doing it. But I want to say this. I want to ask you this. I tell my clients and my audience how important it is, especially with Saturn in Pisces, right? It's in home in Capricorn and Aquarius, but it's in Pisces for two and a half years, right? So early 2026 it will leave. But it's about having healthy boundaries, having
Mm.
compassion, empathy for yourself and others. But more importantly, having a daily spiritual routine and practice and ritual. So I want you to share with the audience what brings life to Loretta, and how do you build up your spiritual muscle and nurture and pour back into yourself?
Mm.
Maybe you
Mm.
sharing some of your spiritual gifts and insights that can inspire somebody else. Because some people, like, they don't even want to take a step forward because they're like, oh, wanting to be perfect. But just share with the audience, what do you do spiritually and your spiritual practice?
That's a good question, y'all. That's a good question, Eric. I do meditate. It's only 5 minutes every morning, y'all. I don't sit for an hour. Okay. Everybody ain't cut for that. At least not right now. Okay.
Hey, you're doing something. That's a good part.
Yes. This is an unconventional answer, but I dance. I dance.
Yeah,
When you have good high vibrational music,
yeah.
and you really want to get out of the loop, the mind loop, whether it's worrying or whatever, putting on some music and dancing. I read. I go to nature. Nature is non-judgmental. There is no judgment in nature, right? It's
It's so
full of
healing.
peace. Exactly. The sun. I encourage everyone to go and take your shoes off. We have been conditioned,
And disconnected
we
from
have
the
been
earth.
conditioned to keep our shoes on 24/7. Be that child that we used to be, where we would just run around barefoot. When you think about the life of an adult, we rarely take our shoes off outside. That is not as it should be, y'all. We really should be connecting with Gaia. Mother Earth has this beautiful grounding energy that re-energizes you. So I just go in my backyard and take my shoes off and just sit in the sun. Let me say this:
And
the
get that Schumann resonance, that vibration and frequency. It's amazing.
the sun has information to give you. Let's get out of the boxes. From birth, we are in we sit in these boxes. That's why they say the 12 years in school is a training program, right? After
Mm.
you graduate from high school, if you go to college, you're in boxes again. And then the workplace, you're in air conditioned boxes. We have to get out and enjoy the sun. The sun light has information. The sun has information. And from my understanding, Eric, there's gonna be like solar, messages and all that coming from the sun in the upcoming months.
Yeah,
Enjoy the sun, even if you intentionally say, I'm receiving my downloads. Give me my downloads. Allow it to touch your skin. Um, it has information for you. You'll be
so
amazed. The
true. Yeah.
sun has information for you. So doing those things, getting back to nature, they all feel us up. They really do.
That's
And
very Taurus moon of you to say. The connection today. But it's so true, right? And people don't understand why we feel energetically so different, right?
yeah,
Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. It's literally hashtag new earth. And even since 2020, the solar blasts, M class and X class solar flares, and this is stuff you can look, right? It's even on NASA and other websites. They have increased and been at the highest levels in recorded history. So we're literally, the electromagnetic field, the veils are thinning, and we
yes,
are in the 5D. We have to choose to vibrate, like you said, on higher levels.
yeah,
And connecting to Gaia, Mother Earth, is a great way to do that,
yes,
you
yes,
know? So
yes,
let me ask you this. I want to go back to, because I sense that you're a very proud mother. And I love when you shared that insight, with your daughter. And I know, all the poor kids, what they've been going through,
yeah.
especially since even, the pandemic in 2020, right?
Mhm.
But do you see different spiritual gifts in your children?
Mhm.
Could you work with you know, do you work with any children? Like, you know, parents say, oh, I like my son or my daughter to work with you and do a quantum healing.
Wow, there you go, reading me again. I was told that I will be working with parents and children. I was told that. I do see spiritual gifts. You know what? And I love that you asked that question. I love that you. I'm actually going to talk about you, Eric. I'm going to be on another show Sunday, and the topic is validating spiritual vision. And I
Mm,
think I'm going to talk about when you talked about that your son saw you, right? When you were in the coma and you went into the house and laid on the couch, your son saw you.
yeah.
And so,
We saw each other as I astral traveled from the
yeah,
hospital to the house.
which is incredible. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about is validating, and you and I have talked about this, validating what our children see, because they have not been on this planet as long as we are, and they have not been conditioned out of their abilities like some of us are. um but let me add this. I'm being prompted to add this.
Mhm.
Speak life into your children.
Yeah.
Um, Gone are the days when adults thought that they were better than their kids, right? It was, I don't know how about you, Eric, but I grew up at a time where it's like kids are to be seen and not heard.
I
Like
heard. Oh yeah.
we were, dismissed.
That's all
But
Gen X. I'm older than you, so you know I went through it.
okay,
Oh my God.
yes,
And respect your
acknowledge
elders and speak when spoken to.
all
And yes,
exactly.
ma'am. Yes, sir.
Exactly.
All of it.
Exactly. And some of it is, respect, but some of it is just censoring them, right? You're not
Mm.
important. So speak life into your kids. I tell my kids, you're gonna change the world. And my son looks at me like, what in the world does this lady think I'm about to do? I can see it in his eyes, like, what does
Uh,
this lady think I'm about? But our children are powerful beings, y'all. They're powerful beings. I'm going to say this. I'm being prompted to say this. Anything that you've done with your kids that you are not proud of, because we've not always been awake, right? It's been an evolution process. We've learned as we've gone. Forgive yourself and remember that they chose you, right?
yes.
They
Our
chose
children,
you.
yeah,
And
we choose our
so
parents.
you speak life into them, and they will go and create beauty and love. We are all trying to bring the energy of heaven right here in this dimension. That's our collective purpose, and they will go and make wonders. If your kids are in school, we know that public school systems is challenging, but make
Trust me,
sure.
I want to go back to homeschooling like the pandemic, but they love being, they're friends, the socialization, but
Yeah,
it's getting harder every day,
it's
honestly.
very tough, but just advocating for your kids and making sure they know no one is better than you because they're older. Always be respectful of your teachers, but if you feel like your boundaries are being, overstepped, then here's how you communicate. Like, just communicate to them how to be their highest selves, and don't underestimate them. Our kids, man, our kids, y'all, our kids. That's why they wanted us to be their parents, because they have a mission over their lives. So, my daughter likes to paint extraterrestrials. So, I don't know if that's her little galactic, stuff coming through,
Oh,
just, all that kind of stuff. We all have these. My
and
daughter,
how old is she?
she is 16. Her and her
That,
twin brother are
that's
16.
that Neptune Aquarius generation. They are
Yeah,
something. Ooh,
right.
they're amazing. But let me tell you, even
Mhm.
the 11 and younger, I see it with my twins, and the one that saw me when I was in a coma. That's the Alpha generation, Neptune and Pisces. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
magical. And then I guess they're naming this next generation that's happening now and really more officially starting after November 19th with Pluto back in Aquarius for the next 20 years, the beta generation. And with Pluto in Aquarius, this generation, adios mijo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're gonna be so let's kind of segue to this before we, wrap things up.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there is a lot of programming and fear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not about, banging or knocking religion. But where do you see us evolving to, and how important is it for us to spiritually awaken to get rid of the matrix programming and the cognitive dissonance? Like, where do you see, us going from 24 to, let's say, 2030, as the human race, and will that be touched and influenced by other beings as well?
Do you mean extraterrestrial beings?
Yeah, alien, yeah.
I think I've consistently been told by high vibrational non-physical beings that we are in at the end of a spiritual season, right? That could mean that something that we've worked on for many lifetimes that we've never been able to just master. This is the lifetime to get it. Like, I ain't playing with this anymore. I'm about to get this and keep it moving. Um, the biggest thing that I see is that we, like you and I have said, we've already made it, right? And just to have a level of openness,
Mm.
to have a level of openness, to allow ourselves to grow without judgment of ourselves and others, to know that there are many roads to the mountain, right? And have a level of openness to our evolution. We're going to see things. I can't wait to see some extraterrestrials. I don't know what my reaction going to be, but that is fascinating. And
I'd be like, where y'all been?
they are really us, right? I had a guest and she was black. She was like, y'all better know, wake up and know y'all got some third cousins on some other planets. But just not shutting anything down, being open, integrating that we are fractals of God, integrating that. If we are in the church, that's fine. As long as it's not fear based,
Yeah.
then and it works. Not criticizing each other's experiences, but just being open and recognizing that there is no one truth, right? We all have our own truth and our own path. Yeah, I think we're gonna just go more deeply within ourselves
Mm.
and acknowledge our greatness. That is difficult for the human being sometimes, but just acknowledging our greatness. But I'm excited. I am excited. I'm excited.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, as we get ready to wrap up, Miss Loretta, I really want to know, do you, in your spiritual life coaching, the buzzwords, everybody's looking for the twin flame and the soulmate and their love and this and that. One, maybe what do you see about love or soul connections in the quantum with your clients?
Mhm.
And two, in your spiritual life coaching, share how long your programs are or things like that. But can you, help people to heal and have, obviously, we know, and I do this in my relationship coaching program, we need self-love first. But do you work with people to help them understand about that experience or that journey, or even, conceptually knowing or finding potentially or preparing for a future love or soulmate?
Great question. You got the best questions, Eric. First of all, I would like to say if any of your guests reach out to me, I will be giving a discount on my rate. So I don't know what it is yet, but let me know. I
All right.
saw you on Eric's show, and you will get some life coaching and QHHT discount. I want to say that.
Okay.
Secondly, the biggest thing that I have done coaching in terms of relationships.
Right.
And I think the biggest things that I want to convey the patterns that I see. Here's a pitfall, y'all, that I myself have experienced and that we do is a lot of times unconsciously or subconsciously, we seek validation in a relationship that we don't understand within ourselves, right? In our minds, we're really looking for somebody to save us. You wouldn't consciously say that, you wouldn't consciously think that, but you're looking for, maybe escape from misery. You're looking for validation, you're looking for healing from past trauma, and so you're looking for these things in another being. And of course, I don't have to say it's not there, right? It's not found there, it's found within us. And so my biggest advice for relationships is being in a space of wholeness within. What
Mm,
does that mean? What does that mean? That means forgiveness of self and others. That means falling in love with yourself. After my divorce, I just took a sabbatical from relationships and just started to fall in love with myself. You mean to tell me I am a being that never dies? Well, what did I do the last lifetime? I mean, that's very exciting to investigate you. You are the center of the universe. No one else. I tell my clients, it is all about you. So, going within and being healed and happy within is the most important thing to ensure that you will be successful in any kind of romantic
so
relationship.
powerful.
If
It's
there
so
are any holes, y'all, if there are any holes, that person is gonna pull them out. If there are any unhealed parts, it's gonna be pulled out through that other
right.
person.
And we
And
can grow so much, right, through that
yeah,
reflection of a partnership and relationship. And that's where,
yeah,
even with your Pluto and Libra, right, the soul psychology is like your soul is here to learn those life lessons through the
yeah,
lens of relationship. It's powerful. Yeah. That is
yeah,
powerful.
yeah, it is. I
That's
love y'all. I love you, Eric. Thank you for inviting me. This has been amazing.
Oh my
This is,
God, it's been so much fun. And I'm so glad that like even things that I see in the chart, like you said, I was kind of like, getting inside your head and the things that you've been told by other people because, I can see where you can do extremely powerful, transformative
mm,
stuff with the kids
mm,
because you have that magical warmth and that
mm,
Uranus of Scorpio and Scorpio North Node. It's really about transforming people's lives, and even I know even with your Reiki work that you do, locally with people you see one on one, but the Pluto Libra in the fifth house, that's children, and that's
mm,
magical,
yeah,
and working with the groups and all of
yeah,
it. So I'm excited for you and your journey of not only continuing to heal yourself and heal others and lift up those magical kids you have, but also, working with children because
nice.
I see the magic in these young people. I
Mm-hmm.
can tell that you recognize it too, and that's where we as elders need to continue this work. And sometimes I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, sometimes I think about, maybe it's like about us reopening these mystery schools
Mm-hmm.
because these children in the school systems are not being educated. They're just being, programmed and dimming their light, which you had mentioned earlier. And you're so right on that. And that's something where I can see you'll be helping to integrate this love and healing, but help mold the
Yeah.
youth of our future, and
Oh, that's beautiful. Speak
that's
that. I love it.
that's a gift that is just like, oh my God, like
Mhm.
it's big, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I thank you for the work that you do, and I
Thank you.
know the audience is, you guys got to reach out to Loretta. So okay, so share all your information again, and remember, you guys, it'll be in the description down below, so you can read the website, the social medias, and definitely go subscribe to Miss Loretta's YouTube channel. But share the website and the ways that they can reach you again, so they
Okay.
can they can take advantage of the special discount for the Eric. Yeah,
Yes.
listen, and maybe in the subject put Eric and put knowledge is love or whatever, so that way they know,
Yeah.
who they are, where they're coming from.
Absolutely. So the website is www.allthingshealing.net. All one word, allthingshealing.net. The YouTube is Loretta Sharing Group, Instagram, Loretta Sharing Group, Facebook, Loretta Sharing Group. It's all Sharing Group, of course, is not my last name, but it's the name of the podcast. And you funny, you funny. Um, my email address, ACIM. AC is in course, I as in in, M as in miracles, ACIM sharing at gmail.com is my email. And just let's chat. Just even if it's just, some chat things, I would love to hear from everyone. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you
I
for
so
coming.
yeah,
This has been powerful, and
yeah,
your story and your journey is very inspiring. And I think people need to really comprehend and understand that, one, we're not finished works.
right.
Two, that we have to pour into ourselves, and don't look for that outside validation.
Yeah,
Connecting to God source consciousness is within.
yeah.
And I tell my clients, I tell them, I said, listen, I'm not going to give you no fluff. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
All of us fall
Mm-hmm.
short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect, but at the same time, God has given every single one of us gifts and talents.
Right.
We
That's
just
right.
have to recognize them and then just go
That's right. That's right.
and
That's
believe in those miracles, like.
right. Yes.
So
Yes.
I applaud you for all that you do and what you've been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate. And I'm all about, I don't like these so-called gender wars. It's really
Mm-hmm.
a low vibrational
It
energy trying to
is.
divide us. And especially, I'm gonna be honest, especially in the Black community, there seems to
Mm-hmm.
be this, ongoing storyline and theme that I think is fabricated and it's unnecessary and it's not
Mm-hmm.
helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Families thrive and
Mm-hmm.
need one another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mother,
Mm-hmm.
the father, we need that union and that love,
Yeah,
so
the biggest thing I would love to share on that, Eric, is to recognize each other as whole selves. Sometimes we see, especially if we're in the dating scene, we see the other gender as only what they can do for us, but just to recognize them as individuals and people who have had experiences that have shaped where they are, and just being non-judgmental and just having an open heart. You're absolutely right. It has been a lot of energy uh versus kind of energy, man versus woman kind of energy, and it is unfortunate. It's time to let that go, y'all, and just kind of be like, what, you really are beautiful, and I appreciate you for being here. Yeah, let's take it higher. We absolutely can.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And one last thing before we end the podcast, I just want to know your spiritual life coaching. How many weeks is it, and your program, and do you how to just let the audience know, because I think that's fascinating.
It really, honestly, it's a individual thing. I don't think any kind of goal that anybody has to be. We can do that in 1 week, okay, in one session. We
Mm,
can do any work, even if it's in the space of healing. We can do any work in the powerful moment of now, y'all.
mm.
So it's not one of those things where I'm going to say you got to see me for 6 weeks. No, it's an
It's more
individual
cookie
thing.
cutter. You mold it to the client and their individual needs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
So
beautiful.
in anything, you can have you're trying to get over a breakup, or you have a goal where you want to break away from thinking that you're not good enough. Anything. And I do tend to give a just 30-minute uh, uh, complimentary session just to see if it's a good fit, right? Sometimes it might not be a good fit. And so just, yeah, it's not that structured. Maybe it'll be structured in the future, but it is an individual process.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I think a lot of the audience would appreciate that, and I think
Yeah.
that you know, I know that all of us, each one of us, could benefit from that and your
Yeah.
services, your gifts, but also the fact that we're all one of one. We
Yeah.
all are unique and different and so complex,
Absolutely.
And y'all want to reach out because she got that Taurus moon in 12th house, so she be giving you that grounded spiritual love healing that's gonna take you to the right place.
That
So,
mother energy. I have a lot of mother energy, y'all.
no, I
My
know.
teenagers be like, I'm like, baby, I'm sorry. It's just who I am.
You're just destined to be that mom. Hey, listen, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, but know that I bring all that. That's why I said all things healing. I bring all of the wisdom and the compassion that I acquired after wanting to die. You gotta build a lot to get back from that space. And so I'm not just speaking from fluff, y'all. This really is from being in, creating hell and coming up from that, and just the wisdom that I acquired through that process. So it's cool. It's cool. I love it. Aren't we all happy I didn't do that, right?
Amen.
If anybody is having those feelings,
Mm,
do not give into those feelings. Talk to somebody who you trust. Talk to somebody who loves you, and hang on. I shudder to think if I had have given into those thoughts. I really shudder to think what would have happened with my children, and just I wouldn't be in any of the space that I'm in. So there's a unique role that you play in this collective. There is your energy has a signature, just like our fingerprints. Everybody can find you just from your fingerprints of all the billions of people on the planet. Your soul has a signature energy. You have unique gifts. You cannot be duplicated. There is no one else on this planet like you. That's facts. That is facts. No one else. And so if you're here, we're here for a reason. I'm telling y'all. I was told by Robert Schwartz, there's about 3 souls to one body right now. So
mm.
before all the people, when we're trying to come on this planet, the souls are literally competing for that one body to incarnate. So if you're here, it's because out of 3, they said, okay, yeah, we need you. Yes, we need you. Yes, you can contribute to that. So if you are here, you very much chose to be here. You very much believe that, y'all. We
I
feel
love
like
it.
life is happening to us. We're happening to life. You're here for a reason. Hang on. Hang on. We need your energy. We need your love. We need your presence. So, yes, hang on, y'all.
Now that should give everybody some purpose.
Let's
Miss
do this
Loretta,
God thing. Yeah.
thank you, Loretta, so much for being here.
Thank
Again,
you.
everybody, thank you for watching. Please comment down below, share this out to your groups. You don't know who it can touch and inspire. Share it on your social media. We greatly appreciate it. Go support and follow Miss Loretta Taylor. And thank you for watching episode 205 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast with the amazing Miss Loretta Taylor. All right, y'all.